Not gonna lie to you guys, I am playing with the danger zone on this one. This is a letter opener, so it can cut things. I chose this actually on accident because I'm talking about a game series that I deeply care for that is never coming back, and that is Tenchu, Stealth Assassins. This is a game that died so that Sekiro could live, which is what the title is. And originally, when I conceived of this video, I was going to do it in the same other pause style that I had been doing, but I don't have time. I don't have time, but I want to talk about it. So here we are. Tenchu is really cool. Tenchu is also really bad sometimes. And please pardon the condition of that copy. I need to clean it up quite a bit and get it a new case because it's yucky. But the short of it is basically Tenchu was this stealth action game that came out on the PlayStation 1, developed by a company named Acquire, owned by Activision, or licensed by Activision. I don't fully remember. They made two Tenchu games, the first one being Tenchu Stealth Assassins, which did not age very well, and then the second one being Tenchu 2 Birth of the Stealth Assassins, which is like a prequel that attempted to have an actual story, because the first game did not have that. And the games were notable because they had stealth mechanics, and they had a lot of other cool stuff. And they were essentially prototype stealth games before we had things like Metal Gear Solid. Right? They're obviously not the first stealth game, but they were the first game on the PlayStation to really say, like, well, okay, let's start exploring what stealth can be, which was really cool. After the first two games, the Tenchu license was sold to FromSoft. FromSoft, the same one. They created a studio named K2 to work on it. K2 created Tenchu Wrath of Heaven and its Xbox port Return from Darkness, and then K2 continued to make other Tenchu games. You can probably guess how I feel about those. So essentially, the trajectory of Tenchu, to break it down really simply, is that the first three games are considered to be all very good, and the build up between them is very natural. The first game is the proof of concept with a lot of flaws. The second game really builds on what the first game set out to do and has its own issues, but ultimately is a much better experience. And the third game ends up being the culmination of everything that we've learned and really raises the bar for what the series can be. And that's what we did. Birth of the Stealth Assassins added a lot. Wrath of Heaven really refined what was added. And Wrath of Heaven is a really excellent game. Really excellent. It's also the game that I bought my PlayStation 2. Well, I didn't buy it. I was 8. My dad bought our PS2 for. That and Spyro Into the Dragonfly, which I believe I've got around here somewhere. I keep my PS2 and 3 stuff separate. So it's a really cool franchise. And the first three games were received really well because what they would do is they built atmosphere very cleanly. They made it really clear, like, this is the kind of level that you're in, this is the kind of environment you're sneaking through. They found a way to build some mysticism while keeping it grounded. It was very unique, very of its time. Combat wasn't particularly full of depth because the goal was really not to be caught. The goal was to kill with stealth. And the game even rewarded you with really slick stealth kill animations. And again, I don't know if I should have been playing this when I was 8, but as we've established, my dad had very loose uh, parameters for me in terms of the content I was allowed to consume. Always a no on Grand Theft Auto, but everything else was like fair game. The games have great music. They also do this really cool thing where by scoring higher in a mission, you get better items and you get more of those items. And you can then go back and replay the missions with those better items to get more of those better items to make your future missions even easier so that you then build up your stock of really good items. And Tenchu Wrath of Heaven even did it better and had multiple guard layouts. So it gave you more reasons to try to go back, get that Grandmaster Ninja status. The games ended up being really replayable, which I'm a big fan of replayability. I think the more replayable a game can be, the better, right? It really allows you to stretch a small amount of content into a bigger one. The games are really, really cool. The problem arises when we start getting into the games after the first three. And make no mistake, the first three games do have their issues as well. The draw distance in the first two games is pretty bad. It's clearly a system limitation, and the second game does better about it. But there's a lot of moments where you're going to get caught because you can't see enemies because of how small the draw distance is. The voice acting in the first game, there's no way around it, dude. It is legendarily bad. It is on par with Resident Evil 1 in terms of how just atrocious it really is. Tenchu 3 doesn't really build on the story that was being built in 1 and 2. It kind of just feels like it meanders a lot, doesn't really pay off anywhere. So by the time we were done with Tenchu 3, we were really ready for some good sequels. And we didn't get those. We got a spin-off where we got to see what happens between Tenchu 1 and 3, which those chronologically are like the sequenced games. That wasn't that good. That was not great. Then after that, we got good old Tenchu Z here, which I'm not going to pick up again because it's still yucky. So Tenchu Z tried to do this like 4-player co-op thing, and like it lets you build your own ninja. It's also got the ugliest character creator I've ever seen in my life, and I've played a lot of games. It's really ugly. It's not very fun to play. It doesn't really get the essence of Tenchu. It doesn't tell a very interesting story. It moves the series forward a little bit, but ultimately doesn't do anything of note, and is not very good. Especially being the first next gen, the first HD Tenchu game, it drops the ball pretty hard. We get some spin-offs. We get like a PSP spin-off. We get uh, an Xbox Live Arcade spin-off. It's like a tower defense game. You look at that and tell me if you think that's fun. The answer is it's not. But Tenchu Z really ends up being the last of the mainline console games, and it's really sad that that's the note that we ended on. But it's really more mediocre than anything else. I'm really looking forward to replaying it and getting my thoughts down as an adult about like, okay, what could this have done better? Especially because this is technically my first Xbox 360 game I ever played. Because when my dad and I bought our 360, when he bought our 360, I should say, I was 12. We were super hype. It was the Halo 3 edition. We were all so over the moon about it. And we opened the box and we're like, oh my gosh, look at the headset. Look at the controller. Wow. And then we stopped for a second because we realized Halo didn't come out for another 2 weeks. So we had nothing to play on it. So we went to Blockbuster. We bought Gears of War and rented Tenchu Z. And thankfully, that was the order we went in. If we had bought Tenchu Z and rented Gears of War, that would have sucked. Bad. um, okay. If you're a Tenchu fan, you're noticing the omission that I made. And again, I was going to be really coy about this in the original video. There is another Tenchu game than what I've mentioned. And it is one that is so bad that it killed the series, which was already not doing good. And that is Tenchu Shadow Assassins. Now, Tenchu, as I've described it, seems pretty cut and dry to be a very mature game. It's a stealth action game. It seems to be very reliant on the sandbox experience and getting those really cool glory stealth kills. So, what if I told you that what is essentially Tenchu 4 is not only none of those things, but is also on the Wii? Don't worry, they ported it to the PSP as well. This is like, I know I talked yesterday about how angry I am with Halo Studios, but actually playing Tenchu Shadow Assassins, which I have done on the PSP, I think that it makes me madder than the Halo thing. Because I really don't know how you screw it up so bad. Especially because it was developed by Acquire, the same people who made Tenchu 1 and 2. And so it seemed kind of this like, okay, K2 didn't really know what they were doing, so Acquire's coming back in to right the ship. And they made a worse game than anything K2 ever made. Like, honestly, the game is played from this weird over the shoulder perspective. You don't have weapons. If you get caught, you immediately get sent back to your checkpoint or die. The stealth is not stealth, it's follow the line. The boss fights are embarrassing. The story performs all different kinds of character assassination and sets up a cliffhanger that goes nowhere because nobody cared about it. Because nobody cared about this game, and most people didn't even know it came out because it was on the Wii. So yeah, things are bad. Things are bad for Tenchu. and that's that. And then they did conceive another Tenchu game at some point, and that eventually became Sekiro. So yes, without Tenchu, we never would have got Sekiro, and I'm glad we do have Sekiro. I enjoy Sekiro quite a bit. But sometimes I catch myself thinking about Tenchu and thinking about what could have been, what can still be. Honestly, we could still get a Tenchu game at some point, but I really don't know what that looks like because Sekiro kind of figured it out, and I don't really think we need a Sekiro 2. I don't think it would make sense. But I don't know. The cool thing about FromSoft is they always surprise me, right? So maybe we do get a Tenchu sequel, and maybe it builds off of what Sekiro did, but it actually tries to make the stealth thing work even more. I don't know. Um, but yeah, that's a story about how one of my favorite franchises that I ever grew up with, that was already pretty mid, uh, drowned itself, basically. But what I do think is the important takeaway here, and this is how I was going to end the video, is I think it's so cool how when you're younger, different franchises that are of different qualities of quality can really last with you. They can really leave an impact with you on what you love and value in games. And Tenchu taught me that I really liked the sandbox. I really liked exploring and trying out all these new weapons. I really liked building on something unique and making things a cool blend of fantastical and realistic. And it paved the way for a lot of what else I ended up liking. So while they're not perfect games, and really honestly, they were never quite even that good, they're still really cool. They're still important. They still made a promise, which was you get to be a badass ninja, and they did keep that promise. And ultimately, all you can really do as a video game, and really any piece of media, is make a promise and keep it. And Tenchu does that. Rest in peace, Tenchu. This letter opener is for you. If you're new here, this is day 4 of 30. I'm doing the 30-day upload challenge where I upload a video every single day for 30 days. I'm enjoying it. This is my 4th video that I've filmed today. I'm getting a little raspy, so I'm going to have some more of this lovely Sprite Zero. Um, these are obviously much more freeform and much less edited because I just don't have the time to do that. If you would like to see some more of my presentational work, that is also available on my channel. And if you really would like me to get back to that, so subscribe, like, watch my other videos. Really help me turn this into a thing that pays itself. I don't know. I don't know how to end this. All right.